Well, hello, everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our webinar. We are doing a startup festival here with 3 students from the Olin Business School in St. Louis at Washington University. As readers of Poets and Quants should know, we have ranked the Olin MBA #1 in terms of its entrepreneurship program, which includes the ecosystem around which students are taught and experience and network in. And we have 3 terrific guests to talk a little bit about their kind of Olin experience, the founding of the company, and what it's like to go through the MBA program. We have Buddy Foster, who is interning at a VC company, and he is graduating in 2024. So he's our newbie in a way. We have Parv Goel, who's the founder and CEO of a company that he started before going for his MBA called Benchmark Learning, which is an online tutoring company for K-12 students. And we're going to get into that and give you the details on that, which is really cool. And then we have Missy Preston, who also is graduating with Parv in the same class, 2023. During the past summer, she interned at EY Parthenon as a summer consultant, worked on a project in EdTech, and plans to continue there full-time after graduation. Welcome, all of you. So let's get just right to the basics. Buddy, why did you choose Olin?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was looking at schools, the only schools I was looking at were schools that had a really emphasis on entrepreneurship. That was a really big deal to me. To anybody going into the world of venture capital, whether on the operator or the financing side, knows the difficult place to be. And I wanted a school that was really going to focus on the things that I needed to know to move into those roles. So truly, the biggest emphasis to me was the entrepreneurship section, and WashU had that in spades, has that in spades. As I got to know WashU through the admission staff, through current students, through recently graduated students, the emphasis on entrepreneurship kept coming up over and over and over again, not only from students that were involved in the ecosystem, but even students that weren't as involved in the ecosystem as well. So it was a really cohesive approach from everybody involved, not just those who were in it, but also those around it.
Right. And I should point out that, entrepreneurship is one of the 4 pillars of the school and the program. So it's not as if you're just going to get a course and then maybe you choose electives in the entrepreneurship field. It's embedded in every piece of the curriculum, and it's a core part of the culture, which makes it different, and which is also one of the reasons why I think Olin Business School year after year has done very well in our ranking on the best programs for entrepreneurship. Parv, you came to the school having already launched your company. And I would imagine that most people would say, well, why go for an MBA after you launched the company? And then why go to Olin? What do you say to that?
Yeah, so I think when I was considering the different MBA options, Olin kept coming up again and again because of what Buddy mentioned, what you've already mentioned, the emphasis on entrepreneurship and it being a core pillar of the program. When I started to talk to people in the MBA and the admission staff and professors specifically in the entrepreneurship department at WashU, I started to realize that it's not only about helping people enter entrepreneurship or helping candidates launch or scale their businesses. It's about developing an entrepreneurial mindset. And that's applicable not only in the business, but in any field that you go into. If you go into finance, VC, or even consulting, or any of the popular fields that people choose after the MBA. At the same time, the business I just launched in July of 2020, it was bootstrapped. It was a pretty small operation. So I saw it as an opportunity to either power the business forward and actually scale, or develop skills that would ultimately be useful in a career, in a more conventional career afterwards. So it was a sort of a win-win for me, and I think that's definitely how it's panned out.
Yeah, that's great. Give us a little sense of how the program actually helped you to think, more deeply about what you've done in terms of the company, and maybe help scale it as well, because I think you're now up to, is it 40 tutors?
Yeah, that's correct. So when I went into the program, we had about 5 tutors, and then we now have 40 tutors over 160 students. We're touching 200 students by the end of January. And I think first, the program really inspired me to think big. Um, Throughout the various conversations I've had in the Scandalaris Center, which is a center that supports entrepreneurship at WashU, and also Doug Vilhard and other professors in the entrepreneurial space. The first step is realizing that you have a good idea, that you have traction, and actually using that to think bigger and actually set goals that are bigger that you might have previously imagined. So I think that's something that the program really helped put me in that mindset. And then second, it's just the skills that I've gained throughout the program. So you go through learning how to pitch, you go through learning how to better develop your value proposition to your investors and to your customers, which was a huge plus point. And then the various classes that you take outside of entrepreneurship and marketing and finance, they all help in little ways to really push the business forward. When I first joined WashU and I spoke to Doug Vilhard, who's in the entrepreneurship department, he said, whenever you take a class, think in terms of your own business, and that's what's ultimately going to help you. And that's exactly what I've done, and it's really helped propel the business forward, and I've been very lucky.
And I should point out, because Parv mentioned him, Doug Vilhard, we had earlier on today on a panel with three people from three different business schools, and Doug has been a guest on Poets and Quants numerous times. So you can find my interviews with Doug out there on YouTube and on our site. And Parv, I hope you're entering, the big idea bounce competition, because you've got a provable concept that's successful already. Who knows? You could win $50,000.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. And going back to that, the big idea bounce, the events and the opportunities that Olin gives you in conjunction with different organizations like Poets and Quants, but also the connections that you make through these events and learning how to network with them is immense. So of course, every year.
So Missy, now, did you go to Olin with the intent to become a consultant?
I did actually. So I decided to come for an MBA after about 6 or 7 years of working, and I was a first generation college student for undergrad. And so business school was definitely a first kind of within my immediate family. So I had a lot of learning to do. I ended up finding the Forte MBA launch program, the consortium, and through all of those organizations, I was able, and Poets and Quants events, I was able to learn a lot about all the MBA programs that are out there and kind of how they're similar, how they're different. And I started to really identify, I guess, what I was looking for. And I knew I wanted a program that had strengths in consulting and entrepreneurship, because I was always entrepreneurial in spirit. And even if I wasn't like actively launching my own startup, I knew that those skills would apply into any kind of career that I wanted. So learning more about WashU, the values, especially those that were focused on the global component and the experiential emphasis that we have here. I love being involved in my community, and there's a lot of ways to do that, to get involved within the greater WashU and St. Louis community in this program. So those things all really stood out to me. And it was new. I had never been to St. Louis. So I kind of wanted to go and like live somewhere that I've never lived before. And I'm really happy I got to experience this new city. So I think all of those things combined, and also what Buddy and Parv had mentioned, really attracted me to the program.
Where are you originally from?
Born in Canada, raised in the US, and then was back in Canada before coming to school.
Oh, so you're Canadian.
Dual, yes.
Dual citizen. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
One of the things I always like to ask students, and usually I'll do this over a beer in a bar, because then we're all relaxed, it's casual, it's not on a Zoom camera where a Hollywood Squares. But let me use our technology here and ask you, and pretend to have a glass of wine or beer with you right now, and say, okay, if there are two things that you've experienced in the MBA program that you think will resonate with you over a long period of time, what would the two things be? Missy, what would you say?
Two things that would resonate with me from the MBA program over time. I've really appreciated being able to meet people from so many different walks of life in the program. And that's another strength of WashU, I think, is I can meet pretty, like everyone in my class, also the class below me and the class above me. I can meet so many different people by getting involved with the clubs. I've been able to engage with the greater WashU and St. Louis community. Like I said, meet people who are running large, important businesses around the community and get to learn from them. I've been able to just learn so much from people that I never really thought I would even meet. So I think just being able to throw yourself into like uncomfortable and new environments, and usually you walk away just learning so much and with a little bit more confidence to be able to do like something like that in the future. So that definitely sticks with me, is just being able to really broadly just expand your horizons, go to a ton of different events, meet different people, have lots of conversations. So that hopefully will stick with me in the long term and be like a fond memory of just being able to do so much in a little time. That's one major thing. And a second thing, let's see, that I would take away from me from the program. There's been a lot of really great things. But
How about your global immersion?
I know I was like, everyone's going to talk about the global immersion, but like, that's definitely going to be something I take away from me. But I was going to say, I've done a lot of the like small little consulting projects that we have on campus through our Center for Experiential Learning. And some of the projects I've done, for example, I did one with a private equity firm that focuses on low income housing tax credits. And I knew nothing about that area at all, but I just decided that was a cool project to do. And I learned so much. And it was a way to like stretch myself into a new industry. So being able to do these like small projects, but that are really immersive and you learn a lot, I really enjoyed.
And I should also underline that experiential learning is another core pillar of the MBA program at Olin. And an important part of the experience. So, Buddy, how about for you? What are your two things?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in my career previous to Olin, I had a lot of incredible mentors, both in my undergrad as well as during my postgraduate working career. And so when I came into Olin, I was really seeking out mentors and people around me who could continue to teach and continue to grow me and call me to a better place of professionalism and learning. And that's truly what I found here. And you mentioned getting beers with students, and that's been a really cool piece, is because of the class size of Olin, you really have an amazing, unique opportunity to get to know your professors and your instructors around you much, much deeper than you could have if you were at a larger school with more people. I mean, the professors that I've met here will continually be people that I reach out to and talk to and keep up with throughout my career after leaving Olin. That's a really unique piece that you're not going to find in a lot of places, and it's something that I was hoping that Olin would have. I'm pleasantly surprised and happy that it is there, but it's not something that you're able to really find until you go. And that's kind of a big piece. Is once you're there, you are a part of the Olin family, and they'll do everything they can to help you, both now and after graduation. Second thing on it, well, you said the global immersion, so I'm going to call that to light, because that is a truly incredible experience. I mean, you mentioned that some of the other pillars, a global-minded MBA is a huge piece of the Olin MBA here. And to those who don't know, we start the program going overseas. And this year we went to Barcelona, Paris, and Santiago, Chile, working on consulting projects with businesses there, as well as helping to even begin to start businesses and what that would look like from a global mindset. Yeah, it's incredible. It really is. And so everybody was joking with me saying, like, are you sure you're getting an MBA? You're posting, drinking wine and staying, but I promise it is educational. There is classes there, but it's experiential, it's global. It has that entrepreneurial filter still through it. And that was a really unique experience.
And I'll just add to that, this is not a 1 week away and you go to 3 cities. This is a true immersion where you're spending a good amount of time. And what's interesting about it to me has always been, when the curriculum was overhauled, how that was built into the front end. Because you would think, in general, most schools, what they do, you take your accounting, your finance, your statistics, your marketing, whatever, and then oftentimes immersions are used to integrate those disciplines. In this case, Olin recognizes that business is integrative, and immediately throws you into these experiences. And it's a great bonding exercise with your cohort, because all of a sudden you're traveling, you're spending all your time, day and night with your new classmates, and it really bonds the class together like no other experience possibly can. Because when you go to a foreign country and you're experiencing a new culture and new language, and you're meeting all these people, and you're doing it with all these new friends of yours, the bonding is just amazing. Okay, Parv, your two things. Can you pick two things that differ from what Missy and Buddy said? I bet you can't.
It would be tough to differ, especially from the global immersion, because that was just an amazing experience. And we talk about global mindset so much. No matter what program you apply to, everyone's talking about global mindset. But having the opportunity to work with local businesses in these respective places for a month and a half, 2 months, traveling, seeing them, talking to their owners, talking to people in these communities. We even did focus groups in various cities across the world. So that was an experience like no other. If I had to add one other thing other than the global immersion, it would probably be Olin's commitment to their students at a personal level. Be it the Career Center, the Entrepreneurship Center, the professors, they really take time to listen to your specific case, what you're having trouble with, or what you need help with, or what you might need to further your experience or your career. And they help you one-on-one. And one benefit of the small class size that Olin does have is that everyone has a lot of time for you, and they're always there for you to help out. And this commitment, it's shown in day-to-day things, but also, for example, the global immersion for my cohort was pushed, just kept getting pushed because of COVID. Right. But they were very committed to actually doing that and making sure that we had the complete experience, and I ultimately played out this past semester. So I think the commitment that Olin has to its students on a very individualized basis is something that I'll definitely take away from this.
Now, one thing I also like about St. Louis, and Missy, you mentioned St. Louis and the city and what it's like to come to someplace that's completely new, is the support that the local business community has. I mean, it's a very close-knit group of business people, and they're very much connected to WashU and to the Olin Business School, and they're very supportive in a way, frankly, that in other really big cities, that doesn't quite happen. And so, Parv, I wonder for you in scaling your business and thinking about it and making it happen, did you have any contact with the local business community and get maybe some mentoring, some advice, some guidance, or just some ideas about how to bring your business up to the next level?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, I took a class a couple semesters ago called The League, in which we talked to and met a lot of local entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that had actually come out of WashU. And a couple of them I reached out to after the class, and they were very, very willing to meet and help. And in fact, one of them, they had their office in Cortex, which is like a co-working space in St. Louis. And they invited me to the office. He literally gave me his card and said, come use this card to enter the building anytime. Just come here, hang out, talk to the people that are building our company, and maybe you might find some inspiration for what you're building too. So I've definitely learned a lot from them. I have gained a lot from their experiences, and just being around that community has been very, very helpful.
Great. Buddy, you have any insight on that and your contact with the local business community through the school?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it kind of goes back into the connections that the school has already made into the community and how they're leveraging those connections for the students. For instance, Doug Vilhard, we mentioned him earlier, but his chief of staff, Ryan Edwards, has also been a huge part in my ability to get connected. She knows everybody who is anybody who is anybody in this city and in the St. Louis ecosystem. And when I first got here, she connected me to a lot of people who told me about the St. Louis StartUP Week. It's a week-long conference throughout the St. Louis area for every startup, whether it be a tech startup or a non-tech startup that is located within this kind of metro St. Louis area. And it was really cool. I got to go to quite a few events, to volunteer throughout the process as well, to meet different businesses in the area that have been operating, that are very pro St. Louis, have been here since kind of the beginning of this entrepreneurship pulse throughout the city. And it was amazing to see what they've gone through, how they built their businesses through the thick and the thin, and get to learn from them. And then above and beyond that, I'm being in venture, I got to meet other venture capitalists throughout the city and start to trade deal flow with them and talk to them about what they're seeing and what I'm seeing from the campus side of things, which they really appreciated, having kind of a eyes and ears on campus, seeing what's going on here, and I appreciated learning from them in their vast experience so far.
Now, buddy, what did you do before your MBA?
I've done a lot of things, John. So when I was in my undergrad, I had a coffee company that eventually sold to a private equity firm during my undergrad time. And that was really.
Wait a minute, you sold a coffee company to a PE firm as an undergrad?
I did, yes, I did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. It was a really fun experience. So that's really what got me started in the world of entrepreneurship and private equity venture capital is kind of having done it firsthand. After college, I went and worked in marketing technology for a bit, digital health for a bit, both on the sales side and then actually construction services as well up in Washington, D.C. on the project management side. So I've been in and around a lot of different things for my MBA.
Now, do you want to become a venture capitalist?
I do. Yeah, that would be my goal. Mm-hmm.
And you got an internship with a VC firm over the summer.
Yep. So over the actually currently as we're speaking now. So yeah, I started about 3 weeks ago with a firm called Moody Venture Partners out of I'm working remote, but they're out of Chicago, Illinois. And then before that as well, I was working with Doug at his seed fund here in the St. Louis area. So they've, again, a big shout out to Doug Villard, has been an incredible helpful resource for that as well.
That's a big pivot, because I will tell everyone who doesn't know out there that VC jobs are hard to get. Internships are hard to get, and to make a transition like that is a big career switch. So you sound like you're well on your way and very much going to make it. So good luck to you.
I appreciate it, but a lot has been done through Olin for that. So I attribute a lot of that success to the fact that I came here and not other schools. So.
Missy, I want to go back to something that Parv said, and actually Buddy reaffirmed, which is the commitment of the professors to the students at the school. Some people may not know this out there, but I will tell you that most business schools have faculty who are so focused on the research that they're reluctant teachers, and they're often surprisingly reluctant to engage with students at the level that you would expect at a world-class graduate program. And frankly, many faculty members think that, teaching is the cost to do research, and, they actually don't really prefer it. But what I'm hearing here is that's quite different at Olin. In part, it's the size of the place. I think there's an intimacy there. It's the culture of the place. And it's St. Louis, where people are incredibly friendly and welcoming. I mean, give me a little insight on that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely correct. So we definitely have both. We have, WashU is an excellent research institution. We have professors that are doing amazing research too, but we also have, great accessibility to all the professors. And I've been very impressed with the quality of the professors that we have here. They're just top tier and excellent. So that has been another really amazing component of our program, is just the excellent professors that we have. And then you have people, that we've mentioned, Doug Villard and, lots of even just like our strategy professors that are kind of more consulting focused, but you can go to them with kind of any question or problem that you have, and they're willing to sit down with you and talk about it, whether it's, working at a startup or recruiting for, consulting, for example, that, I'm planning to do in the short term. Who knows, maybe eventually I'll branch out in some other kind of form of entrepreneurship. But I think that there's many arms to entrepreneurship. You can be actively working on a startup, but you can also be, for example, maybe you have, you own some of the startup incubators, or you own some of the innovation centers. So there's just like in the funding set. So there's just many ways you can get involved with the area. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is casting a wide net and exploring different industries and different careers to maybe just help brace myself potentially for where I'll end up in the future. But yeah, I definitely think that the access to the professors here is amazing. They're kind of all housed within two buildings. You can run across the field, and you have access to kind of all of the professors within both of these spaces. Yeah, they're all here and ready to talk.
And it's a beautiful campus, I have to say. It's one of the
Yes.
most beautiful campuses you could ever imagine. The other thing is tell us a little about St. Louis. Have you discovered
Mhm.
pizza at Antonino's Taverna on the Hill?
I love Antonino's, but I
So do
love
I. It's my
their
favorite place to
lasagna.
go in St. Louis for pizza.
So I'm actually not the biggest pizza fan, so we can ask Barb and Buddy about that. But just more broadly, but like there's excellent food in St. Louis. If you don't know about the Hill, it's our Italian neighborhood and it's full of delicious food, but we have everything. There's actually a documentary about the Hill. So you could also have a look. One of the, I think the like last standing Italian neighborhoods in the US or something. So yeah, it's worth a watch. And yeah, I definitely like all of the food around St. Louis. We have this park in the center, Forest Park, which is actually bigger than Central Park. So it's pretty massive, and it has, our zoo, our museums. Most of these things are free. St. Louis to me just feels very accessible. I love to bike around. I can get everywhere very quickly, but you can also drive. We have a metro, which takes me like through most of the city. We have botanical gardens, we have fun different neighborhoods, we have the second biggest Mardi Gras, as far as I'm aware, in the US. So there's lots of fun things happening here.
Yeah, in that park, which is larger than Central Park in New York City, is adjacent to the university grounds and is spectacular. I mean, there's even a golf course there, the magnificent water fountains. I've been to the art museum, I've been to the zoo, and as you point out, it's all free. It's just a great space to wander and to think, and even to go and study in the spring and
Great city to
summertime.
be a student because it's accessible and affordable, and all of those components are really helpful too.
Okay, let's say someone's interested in going to Olin. Parv, what advice do you have for them? What should they be doing?
So I think if someone is interested in going to Olin, the first thing, find out as much as you can about what the university has and what sort of resources there are available. I think especially people with an entrepreneurial background will find a very good home at WashU Olin. I also think it's valuable to start networking with some of the students here. When I was applying to Olin, I talked to some of the people in the cohort before me, and they were very, very helpful. They helped me with what the school looks for, how to go through the interviews, what they look for in essays, and that was extremely helpful too. And lastly, just put the best effort into the application. It's a great school. You definitely for wherever you end up, not only about entrepreneurship, but all the people are great. The classes are great. The environment, the city, everything's wonderful. So it's definitely something that would be awesome.
Buddy, your advice?
Yeah, no, Barb, you said it really well. And the only thing I could think of is find really what you want in an MBA, find what you want in an education, how the school can help you, and then how you can give back to the school itself and give back to the community here at WashU, and try to relate that in your essays. That'd be the only thing I'd add to that.
Now, Missy, when you go off to Parthenon after you graduate, what are you going to miss most about Olin and St. Louis?
Oh, I'm just going to miss the community here. Like I said, just being able to get involved with both my classmates, but meet people from St. Louis that aren't a part of WashU even, or people that are in WashU, but in other programs. I've just had such a diversity of exposure to people here. And so I really like that. And yeah, I will miss, as you mentioned, some of the food and just fun activities that we have here. And it just started to really feel like home within a short time. I'm kind of feeling like, we're wrapping up our last semester and already wishing I could be here a little bit longer. But yeah, it's been a really comforting place to be as a student.
To me, that's a sign of a great program. Even though you've spent 2 years there, you feel like, boy, it went so fast. I wish I could stay a little bit longer. Well, listen, hey, it's been a real joy to meet each and every one of you. Continued success for all of you. Missy, good luck at Parthenon. Parv, good luck with your business. I'm assuming that after you graduate, you're going to do that full time, or will it be a side hustle?
It is the hope. I mean, it's growing pretty fast, and it does look like it's becoming a full-time thing, but we'll definitely see. You never know with these things.
Yeah, exactly. And buddy, good luck. I'm sure you're going to be a VC when you graduate. I just have a good feeling about that.
I appreciate it, John. No, this was great. Thanks.
All right. Hey, everybody out there. Thanks for watching. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. You have been watching 3 Olin Business School students talk about their experience, and in particular, the entrepreneurship pillar at the school. And as I pointed out before, we have named the Olin Business School the MBA with the best entrepreneurship program in the world. And a lot of that has to do with Doug Villard, who got a lot of cheers here today. Doug's fantastic and very committed to students, and he is a VC and a serial entrepreneur. So he brings real world experience to the job as academic director of entrepreneurship. And it's a beautiful campus. I love to visit, and I hope to see all of you in person someday. So thanks for participating.